Well, makeup's on, hair's done.
Yeah, I just have to get dressed.
Yay.
I was the costume designer on Friends for 10 years. I did the pilot and 10 seasons. The pilot's always challenging because you're trying to communicate so much in a very short period, in a half-hour show, to try and create who these characters are to the public. And I knew that in order to make this different, I had to deal with it in terms of the full palette of the full scene. So I was so lucky to work with John Schaffner, the production designer, Greg Grande, the set decorator. We were all on the same wavelength, and we had this really great idea about color and excitement in the visual of the apartment. So I decided to do every character in an individual palette and a texture.
Do I look okay?
One more button.
Okay.
Clothes. How about clothes?
Courtney, Monica's character, I kept her very much in whites, off-white, burgundy, black, gray.
Hey, I can be a kook.
That was pretty much her palette that I tried to keep together.
Please don't be upset. It could happen to anyone, Rach.
But it didn't. It happened to me. God, I'm gonna look like a big marshmallow peep.
Rachel, I had more in blues and greens and in those kind of cooler palettes.
There is nothing sexier than a man who does not want to have sex.
Guys, I am not that bad. Yeah, you are, Monica. Remember I lived with you? You were like a little, you know.
Phoebe was where I could go crazy with having the only pattern that existed at that time was in her motif.
The reason I'm dressed like this is because I think it's nice to look nice for your gay husband.
So she was the fanciful one, and that's why I started with lots of accessories and great colors, purples, and so that's the girls.
So, Saturday night, the big night, date night, Saturday night.
No plans, huh?
Not a one.
For the boys, I like the idea of Chandler having this 40s movie star look, and the casual interpretation of that was this sports shirt, and I created it for him based on vintage 40s shirts. I also liked in his dressier clothes, there was always that vintage kind of texture in the sports jackets and in the ties.
Why are you here, Carol?
I'm pregnant.
Pregnant.
Ross, because he's a professor, I kept in a very sort of Tweety, J. Crew, Banana Republic kind of classic professorial, but with a lot of fashion.
You know what blows my mind? Women can see breasts anytime they want.
Joey was all about texture and about chenille sweaters and turtlenecks, and you just want to touch him. So if you put all that together, since the 6 of them were together a lot, it made a beautiful palette. And for the first 3 years, I didn't air off of that very much. I stayed very much into my palette. I got a lot looser as the years went on, once everybody in the world knew who these characters were.
Wow, you look... Stop eating hot.
I think the biggest change, as we see in the progression of the years, is that the body consciousness and showing the body, and as we got later in the years, maybe season 7, 8, 9, it got a little bit more couture. The bar raised a little bit higher in terms of their elegant looks.
It starts at 8. We can't be late.
We could not, would not want to wait.
Because we worked on such a tight schedule, we had to accomplish so much in so little time.
Go, go, go!
When you do a TV show, especially a show like Friends, this is the schedule. We get a script on Monday.
They sent me today's script. They never send me the script.
On Tuesday, we have to go out and deal with all the special wardrobe-driven things in specific, like if Joey's going to go in Chandler's closet and wear everything, like, well, how are we physically going to do that?
Look at me! I'm Chandler. Could I be wearing any more clothes?
And of course, the way we did that is we had to take the clothing, cut them all up, make them into one garment so he could get in and get out.
I'll tell you, it's hot with all this stuff on. I better not do any, I don't know, lunges.
Wednesday, we might have a couple of people come in for fittings.
How long do you want the cuffs?
At least as long as I have the pants.
But really, the girls and some of the boys wouldn't come in till Thursday, and we're pre-shooting Thursday, and we're shooting the show on Friday. So it's like, whew.
I'm getting married! I'm gonna be a bride!
We knew a wedding episode was coming, and I had time to like really think about it and prepare. That would be fantastic.
This is it! This is the dress! Oh my god, it's perfect! I'm sorry, this one's taken! Wow!
For example, in Monica's wedding, I knew 2 weeks ahead of time, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make a wedding gown. You know, so I did this wedding gown. We go to do the fitting, and right before the fitting, I thought, you know what, I better have some backups, because what if my dress doesn't fit? You know, so I had pulled really simple, lovely backup, and of course she put it on. I couldn't get the zipper up. There was no time to do anything about it. Try the next one, give me the next one. We put it on, it zipped up, it fit perfectly. My dress was gone.
You look so beautiful. I'm so happy for me.
So when it came to Phoebe's wedding, as much as I really wanted to design that dress, I knew that there was no time, and I had to go out and I had to get something great, because in television you work by the seat of your pants and you move so quickly. It's unbelievable.
The cold has now spread to my special place. So I'm gonna do the short version of this.
And even when you look at those flashback episodes, wow. I mean, we would have maybe a week prior, 5 days prior, we had shows where we had 7 time periods. Phoebe's arm blowing off.
Oh, no.
There is nothing more difficult and more challenging than what we have to do on Friends.
Hey! Oh, hi.
The 80s was the most amazing period on the show, I think, because we really went full tilt boogie. Of course, with Flock of Seagulls hair, Miami Vice suits with the rolled up sleeves, we went way over the top.
No, wait, you didn't just sit on my Kit Kats, did you?
Monica's fat suit had an evolution. In the beginning, we padded. And that was a difficult, a little bit labor-intensive process. And as we went on, we had a fat suit made that was like, you know, one-stop shopping.
Hey, Chandler.
Unzip, get in, zip up. So it wasn't an ordeal in terms of our end.
You know, I've already lost 4 pounds. You can so totally tell. I know!
For her, it was a really, really difficult thing to do. And she was such a trooper, because it was like, are you in there? Like, it's so strange, because the transformation was complete.
Honey, dinner's ready.
The same thing with Joey and his fat suit. I mean, the power of makeup and wardrobe.
You look really pretty tonight.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, the prom outfits were so much fun. Rachel's dress, the blue ruched one, we pulled from Warner Brothers stock, which is a huge warehouse full of period pieces from contemporary all the way back to the beginning of man. And we utilized the stock quite a bit for background, and especially for these flashback pieces that had time periods.
Wait, how do you zoom out? There she is.
Monica's prom dress was really one of the ugliest things I think I've ever made, next to the bridesmaids' dresses that I made, the pink ones.
I'm sorry, we don't have your sheep.
But it's so interesting how the rest of the world perceives it, because there were people that wrote letters and loved them, like for real.
You I could eat with a spoon.
Get away from me, I said no!
There were so many favorite fashion moments, I can't even tell you. There was one with Rachel where she has this yellow dress.
Hey, Dave. Yeah? Listen, I'm gonna need to take a rain check. My roommate is just really sick. Okay? Okay, bye.
I think we probably got more comments from the public on that dress of anything in all the seasons of Friends.
I mean, for all you know, I could be a fashion monger.
I I was the head makeup artist on Friends for 9 seasons.
There you go. Good enough for your party, huh?
At one time or another, I did all 6 people's makeup. Each character definitely has their own look.
Wow, you look great.
Aw. Well, you guys have fun.
Get you later.
Bye, Chip.
Monica's colors were the jewel tone. Sometimes she had kind of bold lip color, sometimes very soft lip color. Her features are pretty vibrant, with the dark hair and the fair skin and the bright blue eyes. And, you know, she just photographs great and she looks great. With Rachel, Jennifer Aniston's character, we usually stayed with neutral colors.
Oh, sorry about that.
Her lip color was usually muted, a natural, neutral color.
Oh, wasn't he cheating on you with her?
Yeah, but that just means that he was falling asleep on top of her instead of me.
Occasionally, I would put on like a pale blue or a pale lavender or a pale green just to punch it up, or use some gray shadows, but nothing that you'd ever really see on TV. It would just make her eyes pop out depending on the scene.
This thing that I'm looking at? Wow.
Thank you. God, no, you should see me when... Oh, actually, no, I look pretty good.
For Phoebe's character, her character was more quirky. Her wardrobe was very, very colorful. I always used like a rosy color or pink-hued lip color on her, and brown shadows and liner on her eyes.
Oh, my eyes! My eyes!
The idea was to have her look beautiful, and her clothing and her hairstyles reflected more of the quirkiness of her character.
Oh, Reach, good. Listen, isn't this perfect for me?
Oh, it's perfect, but not for tonight.
Well, no, of course not for tonight, yeah.
We also collaborated with Deborah McGuire, who was the costume designer, just to find out what they're wearing. And that always made a difference of how much makeup, how little makeup. There's always a basic look that everybody has, but we would change maybe lip colors depending on if they were dressed up or dressed down for the scene.
Are you wearing makeup?
Yes, I am. As of today, I am officially Joey Tribbiani, actor/model. Thank you.
That's so funny, because I was thinking you look more like Joey Tribbiani, man/woman.
Applying makeup for TV can be a little stronger than in everyday life, and it'll still appear to be natural.
Hey, Ross, I was wondering if...
Their look was meant to be just beautiful, natural, a look that people could relate to, that didn't look overly made up, but didn't look totally nude. You know, they definitely were modern women, and they had some makeup on.
Ah, Catwoman. So we meet again.
So we do, Supergirl.
It's me, Phoebe.
On a sitcom, we're there usually only 2 days a week, the prep day and the shooting day. So when an actor comes in and sits down, I usually start out with some skincare.
Yeah, laugh all you want, but in 10 minutes, we're gonna have younger looking skin.
Sometimes I do an under eye treatment that just refreshes and revitalizes under the eyes. And also, I like the skincare part because it's a way to begin to touch somebody, because I'm right in their face.
Now, this may sting just a bit.
Please, I have an extremely high threshold.
Holy mother of God! Oh, my face! Oh!
And it's also beneficial for the skin. I actually think skincare is almost more important than makeup. If their skin's in good condition, the makeup looks amazing.
Curl my eyelash.
Yeah.
I usually start with eye makeup first, and I do the eye makeup, whatever's called for that day. Some eyeshadow, some liner around the eyes, mascara, eyebrows, and then I'll clean the face again, or reapply some moisturizer if I feel like it needs it, and then go for the foundation and cheek color, and then the lips are last.
Okay. You know what? It looks fine.
Okay, here we go.
I met Jennifer right after she did the pilot of Friends. I would come in and just kind of touch up haircuts.
Guys, you got new haircut.
Yes, we did, thanks to Vidal Buffet.
I started working on Friends the 6th season.
Nice hair. What'd you do, swim here?
I think the cast was a little amazed by the amount of attention that their hairstyles got.
I started cutting Jennifer Aniston's hair, and by the second season, it was a popular haircut, and thus the Rachel.
Basically, it's a razor cut with lots of layers and longer layers on the top and lots of movement. And the great thing about that haircut is that it looks good on almost anybody, almost any face shape. And I think that the reason it became such a huge phenomenon was the fact that all these women all over the country who were running around saying, I want this haircut, actually looked good in it.
Well, is there any chance that you can look at this as flattering? I mean, she's doing it because she wants to be more like you.
Well, then, couldn't she have just copied my haircut?
And then she grew that out, and she just kept, like, basically long layers for years and years until she cut the bob.
Rachel kind of evolved from like chunkier blonde to natural golden brown. Real subtle changes, but if you look at it over the years, you notice there was definitely a change. And that's what I love about Jennifer. Jennifer's willing to go to those places and experiment.
What's the matter? Why so scrunchy?
Phoebe was only wavy the first 6 or so episodes of the first season, and then from then on you saw her straight.
I could write about the time my hair did that woohoo thing.
Lisa has naturally curly hair, and she's a natural brunette.
Hey, you dye your hair?
I'm a woman.
Ah, double standards.
So she's got a lot of highlights to keep her that blonde shade. And with Phoebe, it was not so much about doing funky hairdos as it was just about having pretty hair.
God, I love how sexy I am.
A lot of people don't realize that Phoebe wore wigs on the show.
Hey! Oh, God.
Mostly because Lisa was doing movies when we weren't doing the show.
And action.
So she would cut her hair or dye it a different color for the movies, and we would have to keep Phoebe blonde and have this long blonde hair on the show. And so we had wigs that we would use, and nobody knew any better.
All right, I don't want to alarm anybody, but Monica's hair is twice as big as it was when we landed.
Monica, I think probably of all the girls, her look changed the most over the last 9 seasons.
How's the hair?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Ross. It doesn't look good.
She took a little bit more, a few more chances.
I'm sorry, did you say something? I can't hear through all this damned hair.
She went from that very blown dry hair in the beginning to some softer looks, more wavy, a little bit longer. At one point she had like cut it off chin length.
Now some of you are gonna get cut, and some of you aren't. But I promise none of you will feel a thing.
My favorite thing about Courtney is every few years she'll grow her bangs out, and then she'll say like, should I cut bangs? And we'll cut bangs, and within a second she was like, I hate my bangs, we gotta grow them out. So we always like make the mistake every 3 years, and so she reminds me to this day. She's like, if I ever want bangs, talk me out of it.
The flashback looks, probably the most fun that we had doing the show, when we were doing the show. Here we are, we're creating these outlandish stereotypes of the 80s.
Fresh. Boss. She's gone.
I know it.
They were all wearing wigs for that.
I am so drunk.
That's weird. I had the same number of beers as you, and I don't feel anything at all.
Monica was wearing a wig over her fat makeup, and Jennifer had a wig too with the bangs, and Ross, his curly hair, but that was a wig too.
Cool.
So, I mean, the whole gang was wigged out, and it was a ton of fun.
What we have is too important to mess it up over some girl. I mean, we can get laid anytime we want.
Totally. I had sex in high school.
Me too. I'm good at it.
Friends, I think, is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I'm just so fortunate that I had the opportunity to spend 10 years of my life in that situation.
It gave me an opportunity to do a lot of interesting, fun makeup on beautiful people and be able to collaborate with amazing writers and costume designer and hairstyles. It's just a fun experience.
I opened up my own hair salon because of it, and it's doing good.
I just feel like, it was an amazing experience, and I'm definitely a better hairdresser because of the experience, and probably a better person too.
Because, if you don't look good, we don't look good.